Salutations, friends. Here is a question that's on everybody's mind lately. Will AI replace artists? But instead, I'm here to ask, what if it gave us greater opportunities than ever before? What if you could use AI in combination with traditional art and design skills to earn self-sustaining financial freedom as a creator? In the era of AI, each artist can practically become an agency unto themselves, because now each of us can do more. Today I'm going to explore these topics while sharing a time lapse to demonstrate a workflow that blends AI art and the sheer joy of digital drawing and painting. I made this artwork using a combination of Procreate, Stable Diffusion Automatic 1111 running on my local machine, Photoshop, and Figma. This is a page of my graphic novel project because that's a medium I'm passionate about, but the material I'm going to cover will apply to a lot of creative jobs that are impacted by AI. So maybe you clicked this video because you're an illustrator or a designer or an animator and you want to stay current with the wave of generative creative AI tools. Or maybe you're an independent creator who's feeling the financial pinch. Or conversely, maybe you have a design job that pays well but doesn't leave you with enough time to dedicate yourself to your craft the way you hunger for. I've been on both sides of that coin before, and I know how frustrating those pain points are. But as an artist and a designer, I've found a way of life that works well for me, and I'm here to share that with you. For the past 10 years, I've been fortunate to earn a six-figure income in the UX field with benefits and stability that constantly teaches me new skills, keeps me on the edge of the technology curve, and supports my ability to work on my own personal creative content like this every day. If that sounds good to you and you'd like to hear more about how you can apply these techniques to your creative life, then gather round, children, and I shall spin you a tale. So all creatives are storytellers in one form or another. Me, I love comics. Graphic novels, sequential art, whatever you want to call it, I love reading them, and I love seeing them get adapted into movies and shows that reach a wider audience. And I love every hour I get to spend in the flow state of working on them. If you're an artist, I bet you can relate to that. Like, we could just do it all day for fun, right? But if you're a creative person who loves to spend lots of time in that flow state, chances are you felt the pinch of being a starving artist at one point or another. If you want to turn it into something more stable and do it for a living, that comes with some trade-offs. Even if you're lucky enough to be one of the few artists who can get regular work as, say, a comic book illustrator, it just doesn't have a reputation for being very lucrative, much as I might wish otherwise. An adjacent path that pays more is being a concept artist for the games industry, for example, but those jobs are insanely competitive and have a reputation for crunch and burnout, so how much time do you have left to do your own personal work? But ultimately, you've got to pay the bills first, so we forestall the pain of the starving artist by loaning our creativity to others on commission. Aside from the rent or mortgage money, though, the benefits of working for clients and companies is that you inevitably learn all these important practical business skills that will support you as a creator, like how to market your services, or how to give effective presentations, how to empathize with the needs of users and customers and coworkers in a hierarchy, and you get the opportunity to learn from other more experienced creators on the job. So I'm a UX designer in the tech world by day, and that supports my ability to make art and content in my off hours. Being a designer harnesses creativity to solve problems for customers, tell stories for brands, and build businesses. That puts food on the table, and when we do it right, it ideally does some good in the world by making people's lives a little easier through whatever product or solution you're offering to a problem they have. But if you don't find a way to also feed the spark of your own genuine creative interests and explorations, it numbs your soul and leads to burnout. You may have heard of the Japanese concept of ikigai, this balanced center where you're fulfilling all of these different aspects of life purpose. The challenge is hitting all of those goals at once. Maybe you have a good job and you're good at making something the world needs, but it's not what you truly love to do. Other times you're all in doing that thing you love that delights you, but it's not paying you enough to support you indefinitely. So going back to my love of comics, the first thing anyone who's tried making them will tell you is that they take so long to make, so much energy. There's a whole class of people in Japan called otaku, people who basically give up social life and material comfort in exchange for the time and focus needed to express their stories as manga and anime. So the problem I'd been trying to solve since my early 20s was that there's just not enough time to make comics and also have the level of financial security that takes the stress out of life. Until now? AI art opens new doorways for storytellers and creatives because the time it takes to go from imagination to execution has suddenly gotten smaller. So I know that there is a lot of charge in the online artist community about AI art right now for valid reasons. But the possibilities of AI art for bringing our imaginations to life is so fascinating to me that I feel compelled to explore it, like a lot of us are. Rather than vampirically bleeding artists dry of their creative juices, what if we thought of AI as a shared utility, like electricity or water on tap, that actually empowers creators so much that we can defy the stereotype of the starving artist? What if it frees us to sing our songs and paint our visions of a brighter future, to plant the seeds of stories that grow into our culture? And while we're dreaming, why not grow a culture that's in harmony with the systems that support life on Earth, one that feeds and educates and nourishes, that gives more access and opportunity to more people than ever before? And in pursuit of that world, what kinds of stories will you tell? How can you use AI like a lens to focus and amplify the beam of your creativity? So how do you actually use these tools? My next videos will be a series that teach AI art techniques as viewed through the lens of a UX designer and illustrator. So if you feel like hitting that subscribe button to see them when they come out, I'll be eager to share them with you. But Geo, you might say, don't you get that AI is going to take our jobs away? I think that seeing these kinds of tools come to life stirs mixed feelings for creatives in general, because one of the major drivers for creative people is the joyful feeling of being in that flow state. So the prospect of automating that away with AI makes creatives feel like, hey, we like putting on our headphones and bumping up the volume on our playlists and jamming out. Don't take our quiet pixel playtime away from us. I can definitely relate to this, but as the AI models migrate out from first layer platforms to become features within our existing apps like Figma and Photoshop and Blender, I think these tools will actually help us stay in that flow state with less context switching. And the truth is, I think that eventually AI is going to replace everything, but we're not at that part of the story quite yet. So how can we use AI to maximize our enjoyment and productivity over the coming years as wave after wave of innovation goes public? So I've got a creative friend who is a new parent, and he said something that made me think about it in a different way. Why are we using AI to automate away the fun parts of life? I want AI to do my laundry so that I have more time to spend creating art. Rather than it taking our jobs away, what if it just gives us greater superpowers? Like, we're still going to need those blocks of creative time, but each of us will be able to do more during those sessions. Each of us can become like a whole studio of designers and animators. In the case of comics, I'm using AI tools to do the work of a penciler, inker, colorist, writer, letterer, and cover artist. I want AI tools to speed up the more tedious tasks in our lives so that we can reallocate attention to the things that we genuinely love. For me, I love working on the beginning and the very end of a piece. And I love working in Procreate. Feels like flying. And to me, it feels like each piece has this exponential curve, like you hit this inflection point in the end game where every next brush stroke just feels like, yeah, I'm loving how this is looking. And the AI tools help me jump to that quality level just that much quicker. And because my design career provides prosperity, even if I make no money with this content, even if it's a flop in the analytics, even if I die before I finish telling the story I want to tell, I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of working on it. And there's a sense of peace and freedom that comes from that workflow. I'm supporting myself with UX so that I have this top of the pyramid where I can play in this dream realm. Or hours of golden toil, as the illustrious comics author and storyteller Alan Moore once said. It was my privilege to get to work on this, and if you'd like to join me on a little journey where I explain these AI techniques that I'm using and hear a bit more about how to support your personal art with a 6-figure design income working remotely from home, check out this next video or one of my previous ones to tide you over until next time. Thanks a lot, friends. Peace.